Justin Haskins reveals how the new Russian collusion hoax is in motion. I don't know who Justin Haskins is, but he's on the Blaze. But I do agree with him when he says that the Russian collusion hoax is in motion. They're bringing it back. It's like 2016 all over again. But the thing is, it's not going to work. They used it before. We American people are already aware of the hoax. We've already been down this road. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to play this clip. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. Has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, now let's get right into this news here. Let's get right into this clip. Here we go.
Were all these war games that were being hosted. There were meetings and events, all centered around this idea of going back at least to early.
Let's try this again. It didn't quite rewind to the beginning. Here we go. All right, here we go.
Going back at least to early 2024, we've seen the playbook start to be rolled out. There were all these war games that were being hosted. Mm-hmm. There were meetings and events, all centered around this idea of another Russian collusion, Russian involvement in the election, setting the stage for the same old tired thing we've heard over and over and over again. Except this time, the difference was there was a lot of focus on deep fakes and emerging technologies and how these things might be used by Russia in the election.
Which, would you say, they really weren't?
Well, no, actually, I would disagree. I think that they
deep
did.
Fakes?
Yes. There's actually quite a few stories of deepfakes being used by Russia, videos being put out. There were all kinds of fake news stories and things like that. They dumped into the media.
But no one really paid any mind to that stuff. We are fairly good. We have been fairly good at sniffing out these deepfakes, these AI generated videos. Nothing really came out during the election where people was like, oh my gosh, look at this, let me show this, and this is the video of clips of the Diddy tapes and all this other stuff, and we all found out, we all knew right away was not real. So I mean, we've been doing very well at figuring out what's real and what's not.
But deepfakes too, video, audio, everything. It's just that it didn't matter. And the reason it didn't matter was because Trump won in a landslide, by modern standards, he won in a landslide. And so it didn't ultimately matter. But what I noticed leading up to the election was about 5 days before the election, we started seeing a flood of stories in the news. Didn't get a lot of attention because people weren't fixated on it. A flood of stories in the news. Some of it piggybacking on government reports, things from the State Department, all of this saying, Russia is interfering in the election. Yeah. And we saw more and more stories that came out. And the closer we got to the election, we saw this increase even more. And then
so they were prepping us. They were prepping us for this. They were prepping us for thank goodness it wasn't close, because they would have brought it out and said, hey, Russia colluded. And they didn't. But thank God for the landslide where they couldn't use this excuse.
After the election, day after the election, we saw it happen.
And we're going to see it now. Tulsi Gabbard was just announced as head of DNI, the National Intelligence Director. And it's starting to come up again.
Yeah, they are calling her a Russian stooge, a Russian asset. But nothing could be further from the truth. This is what happens when you bring in someone with common sense and actually want to put Americans first. They start throwing these labels on people to try to discredit them. But it's not working. It's not going to work. Y'all tried this already before, deep state, and it's not going to work.
She's a Russian spy.
Yes.
That came from Hillary Clinton.
Yes. Without a doubt. Some of the story, New York Times, how Russia openly escalated its election interference efforts. That's November 7th. LA Times, foreign interference is now the norm, and it could fuel more violence under Trump. That's on election day. Are we just ignoring how Russia openly helped Trump on election night? That's from the New Republic. NPR, FBI reports new hoax videos, deepfake videos, after warning that Russia is trying to undermine the election. That's the day before the election. Wired, Russia is going all all out on election day interference. That's the day before the election. And then there's been more and more stories, Rachel Maddow, people like this, spreading all these stories about how Trump has all these secret connections to Russia, people who are in his
But again,
campaign.
And thank God it didn't work. Thank God people sniffed out these stories and was like, "Hey, this is fake news." No one listening to Rachel Maddow with her crazy conspiracy theories that all turned out to be untrue. Like, it is not working. The mainstream media push on us for the they were actually ones that's purveying this disinformation and try to put it on the American people. This propaganda. And again, thank God it did not work.
you have all of this stuff.
Why would anyone listen to it?
Why would anyone listen to it
Right.
coming from the mainstream
Okay,
media?
so
Right.
I think there's two different things happening. There's what's the plan going to be and is it going to work? Now, right now, I believe the Russian collusion hoax 2.0 is the plan. One of several possible plans. I think it is the plan. I don't think that you coordinate all of these kinds of news stories for the week leading up to the election and after unless that's the plan. State Department coming out and saying similar things,
Yeah.
FBI issuing warnings about it. I mean, they're all doing what we would call the propaganda industrial
Right.
complex, the stuff you should
Right.
watch
Right.
for. They're all
And-
doing it.
And it's not working. And it's not working. Thank God. People are aware of this bull crap, and their propaganda is no longer have a hold on American people. This is why they're pushing for the censorship. This is exactly why they're pushing for to get rid of Twitter or add moderators to Twitter and stuff like that, so they can control the narrative because it's not working. This Russian collusion hoax no longer works. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.